Man, I'll tell you what, it's hot today. Right there is the last of sorting the Lego sets I got a couple of weeks ago. I guess it's been about a week and a half. So, leaving work, it's hotter than blue blazes. It's 95 degrees. I don't know how hot it is in my car, but it's hotter than that. It's hot, okay? I'll just put it that way. And I don't have a way to hold my phone and get out of this parking lot. So, this video really is just to kind of give you a little bit of a chronicle of what I went through my first experience buying Lego in bulk. I can't say it's my first experience. I have done it once, a long time ago, but I made out really good too at that time. I had different purpose for doing it. Back then I was just trying to get a bunch of stuff to get, and we ended up pulling all the stuff out that we liked and resold it on eBay, which is probably what a lot of people do. But I wasn't trying to do it because I was getting off into that hobby. I just wanted a bunch of cool Legos for my son, really. And then I couldn't justify having 44 pounds of Legos in my little one-bedroom apartment. The baby. Anyway, that was then. This is now. So about a week and a half ago. Can I set that there? I'll try. So about a week and a half ago, I went and bought 3 different lots within 2 days. So here's how it goes. First guy, he had an advertisement for 150 bucks for he claimed 30 to 35 pounds of unique Legos. All right, and I offered him 120 bucks, and he said he'd take it. All right, fine. And then I was also talking to other people at the same time, because I don't know if any of these deals are going to go through, right? So I'll talk to many people. I had another person, so they got about 20 pounds worth of Legos for 60 bucks. And he said there were some Lego Friends sets in there, because I guess he had a daughter. Also, his son and his daughter, some Star Wars sets. Oh, by the way, the first guy said it's pretty much all Star Wars. He's pretty sure almost all of it's Star Wars. So anyways, okay. Third one was and this thing's moving around. The third one was a mom, and her kids are getting older, and they were getting rid of the sets, and she wasn't sure what all they have in there, which seems to be the case with just about everybody I talked to. They don't know what's in there. So they don't remember what they bought for their kids. Anyway, since I'm kind of new and fresh at this, I didn't know, are these people being honest, or they really don't know? It sounds legitimate. They don't really know. They know it's Star Wars, but they don't know what sets they are. That's fine. I don't expect you to know all this stuff. But I also know there's people out there who are scam artists. So the first guy I bought from a few years ago told me straight up that he buys big bulk light sets, pulls out the minifigs, and resells them. He just told me flat out. And I'm like, okay. At least he's honest about it. So here's how everything went down. Oh, so number 3 was, again, she said about 20 pounds for $55. And there were close-up shots of like 2 boxes, or a box, 2 different angles. I couldn't tell what was there. So I asked each person, is there any way you can back up and take a wider shot picture so I can get some idea of how, what I'm dealing with here? And how do these people really know what this stuff weighs? Are they weighing it because there's no scale? So 2 people actually did come back and weigh this stuff. One person came back and weighed it, and I said, well, that looks a little light to me. It was the kind of bag it was in. And that was the guy number 2. His ended up being 19.5 pounds on the scale from where he was standing. So okay, he said 20 pounds, 19.5 looks close. Well, fine, I'm not gonna over that. That's a good deal, 60 bucks. And he said it's all Lego. So we'll see. But then the first lady, the third person, which was a lady, I told her, because I'd already been talking to a few people, I kind of gave her my on the spot menu pricing and how I did it. So I gave her a quote. I basically gave her 2 quotes. Hey, if it's this, I'll pay you this. If it's this other thing, I'll pay you this. That's what I came up with, a little formula. And she agreed to it. All right. Well, I went and met the first guy, the one that has the 30 to 35 pounds, because that one's the lot, right? Offered him 120 bucks. Well, as I'm driving there, the guy tells me, I just discovered that it's not all, I just learned that it's not all Lego. And I'm kind of going, okay. So I asked him, do you know what sets are in there? He's like, he doesn't know. And I'm like, all right. Anyway, so I went and met up with the guy, and he told me where he was. He got there really fast too. I said I'll meet him halfway. He got there real fast. I don't know how the guy got there so fast, but there he was. I pulled up, and he has this bag of stuff. I'm looking in there, and I had to do this really quick. One of the things he told me was that he had he said there's got to be at least 60 minifigs in there. I said, all right. Well, he took a picture of some minifigs he had pulled out, and I counted 18. I counted 18 like Star Wars minifigs from what I could see, and the rest of them were some random stuff. But I mean, there was not 60. There was probably another, I don't know, maybe 20. So maybe the guy's exaggerating, or he's just off, or I don't know. It was really difficult to tell, so I was still willing to give the guy a benefit of the doubt. But what got my attention was I saw a Star Wars Naboo starfighter in there. And I thought, well, with the minifigs, the Naboo starfighter, if it's complete, which it probably isn't, I can probably reassemble it and maybe recoup my cost or some of it if I was to resell the bulk. I just didn't know what I was dealing with yet. And either way, I said, look, I'm just getting into this hobby, so maybe there's a little bit of upfront. So let's go for it. So I went ahead and did it. Got home, weighed it, picked up the whole thing. It weighs 22.4 pounds, which I made a video. If you go back, you'll see that video. 30 to 35 pounds is what he said. He claimed it was all Lego. And he claimed it was mostly Star Wars Lego. Okay, so 22.4 pounds. I made enough video where we kind of opened it, take a quick little overview of what's there. Well, that one was messy, man. I was like, dude, I don't feel like going through this right now. It looks icky, it stinks. So I decided I'm gonna hold off yet. The next day, I got a hold of, I talked to several people. What ultimately ended up being person number 2, and then the third one. I decided to go. I left work. I took a long lunch, drove to Dallas, went to guy number 2's house, picked up his sets. Everything looked clean. It looked a whole lot better than the first guy's, and it wasn't overpriced, and the bag was a lot bigger than I expected. And then I went to house number 3, person number 3. Went to the house. The mom wasn't home. The mom said that my daughter's going to be there. I'll let her know you're showing up. Got there. Felt kind of weird, I don't know if we go to your house and just your daughter's there. But anyway, there it was. There was 2 people there, so I felt a little better. And went up, and they one thing they had done was they had started pulling out all of the non-Lego garbage. I didn't even ask them to do that, but they did. They started pulling all the stuff out, and she showed me a shoebox. She goes, we stayed up last night and pulled out about a shoebox worth of non-Lego stuff. I was like, that was really cool. 55 bucks. She gave me that box, and then there's 2 more boxes behind it. And she gave me those boxes. I loaded everything in the car, and I was leaving. I got back to work, and I got a text from the mom. It says, did my daughter give you all those boxes? I said, yes. And she goes, she wasn't supposed to do that. She says, you got a really good deal. I said, yes, you're very nice, thank you. And she never came back and said, and she goes, if we find any more, I'll make sure that you're the first to know. And I said, okay. You know, at that point, I'm willing to pay you extra for the stuff if that wasn't what you meant to do. But problem is, I drove halfway across town to go find it. I mean, to go get the stuff. So they're gonna have to meet me halfway or come to me or something. So I mean, I'll be a nice guy, but I've already used my gas and my time away from work to go do that, so I can't go do it again. Anyway, she was nice and said she comes across anything else, I'd be the first to, she would let know. Anyway, so I got the stuff home, dumped everything in the bags. So I had to get them out of those boxes. So I had these big bags left over from the first time I did a Lego haul many years ago. I still had those bags, big ones, about the size of a pillowcase or more. And I filled up 4 of those bags. I said, dude, that's a lot of stuff. I weighed customer number 2's bags, and there was, it was like right at 18 pounds. So he said 19 and a half. I was like, I don't care. 18 pounds for 60 bucks. Let's just hope it's not a bunch of trash. And then I weighed customer number 3. That was supposed to be 20 pounds. 32 pounds. Man. So when I added it all up, I figured out what my investment was total, all 3 customers, $235. I mean, yeah. Is it $235 or $225? $235. $235 for 72.4 pounds of Legos. That's actual pounds of what I received. That's not weight of what I've gone through. So here's the thing. I spent all last week and all weekend and then part of yesterday and then the part of today pulling out all the garbage. And let me tell you, I went through probably a dozen or more surgical gloves, pulling out all the crap, push pins, gum, Tootsie Rolls. I'm short of saying razor blades and syringes. It was nasty. The nastiest freaking thing ever. Just garbage. And that was already a pain in the butt. So I did it in reverse order. I did customer 2 and number 3 all at the same time pretty much. Because that first customer, his bag of stuff, man, it just stunk. That smells like a dirty house. I should have put it outside and let it get some air. But either way, I did his last. Okay? Now for the first 2 customers was what? 18 pounds plus 32 pounds is 50 pounds. 50 pounds of Legos. Out of 50 pounds, I pulled out about 2 pounds of trash and knockoff Lego. 2 pounds. Customer number 1, who claimed to have 30 to 35 pounds of stuff, who clearly was either just completely wrong or just ignorant or just flat out lying. I probably think he's probably just lying, because I tried to ask him what sets he had and whatever, and he didn't know. I said, can you ask your kids? Oh, they don't even know what they ate for dinner last night. And I'm like, first of all, I don't think you have any kids, and I think it's really interesting that of all the stuff you have in here, you've got all of the minifigures pulled out and in baggies, and everything else smells like a dog threw up on it. Very interesting. You don't have any idea. You have no instructions. You can't get a hold of your kids. The whole thing smells like a big sham to me. And then I went through the process over the next couple of days of going through 2 days of going through his stuff. And I thought, I got to have a different method for this. I can't go through these like I did the other bags. For his, there was so much crap Lego knockoff garbage in there that there's no way I could go through it the same way. So I had to basically break everything down into colors. Pull all the red out, pull all the black out, pull all the blue out, all the yellow, all the orange, just like that, all the way down the line. Separate them to colors. That way I could put like all the red there and look at it to figure out by contrast what's Lego, what's not. And that worked out pretty well. It took a lot longer, but I had to do that. So when I was done, customer number 1, remember he had 22.4 pounds. When I got done, I had pulled out over 10, 11, or 12 pounds of fake Lego. This is the guy who claimed all Lego, and I just found out that some of it might not be Lego. Bull crap, dude. That guy padded that package and he knows it. Either way, I went back, taking partial builds and taking photos and going to Bricklink and Brickset, trying to do a little bit of investigation to figure out what sets were in there. I don't think there was 2 Star Wars sets. Maybe 3. And everything else was random stuff. So the guy lied about that. He clearly lied. I think he knew what he was doing. But it took me forever to go through all that stuff, and I finally finished today. Now, I've washed everything else up to this point except for guy number 2's lot. And I've got all of that in a tub at home, and I've got the rest of this here today. So when I get home, I'm gonna take all of this stuff, I'm gonna dump it into an ice chest at home, and then I'm gonna take hot soapy water, not boiling hot, but I'm gonna take hot soapy water, and I'm gonna just drench that entire thing. I'm gonna let it sit for about 2 hours, and then I'm gonna drain it out of the water, of the ice chest, and just go over it with a water hose a few times. And then I've got a couple of large screens that went on the storm door. Lay those 2 out side by side, and I'm gonna dump all of those Legos out into a thin layer and let them air dry, because I'm not doing that with a fan again. I did it with a fan in the bathroom over a towel before. It took like 8 hours every time I do that, and it was only like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 gallons worth of not Hot Wheels, about 3 or 4 gallons of Lego. And that takes too long, so I'm not doing that again. I'm just gonna do them all at one time, and hopefully, not hopefully, this is gonna happen. By the end of today, all of those Legos, everything from all 3 lots, will be completely detrashed, Lego brand purified, and cleaned, washed, cleaned. So the next step, after that's done, I gotta start sorting. So I've got categories broken down like they're done in Lego Digital Designer. So I've got you know, the very first things I'm going to do is going to be all of the brick pieces. Now, I did do that for, you know, the very first time I started going through some stuff. I got all the trash out, the non-Lego stuff out, and then I washed them and dried them, and I started going through and I pulled out all the bricks. And then I went back and I started pulling all the plates. Hardly put a dent in the pile. But I realized real quickly, wait a minute, I've got to have a storage system set up for this. And I can't really establish a storage system until I know exactly how much of what I have. So how many bricks do I have? How many plates do I have? How many wheels do I have? I have no idea until I go through everything. So I don't want to just get a bunch of containers and think, well, this is not big enough, or this one's too big. I mean, I can always move things around, but I just decided I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go through the entire lot, pull out all the bricks first. Okay? How detailed am I going to get with separating the bricks by, you know, stud number, etc.? But that's what I've got to do. That's my next step. But I'm going to take a little bit of break because I've been kind of neglecting my family off in the studio at a table sorting, brick sorting, brick sorting, brick sorting, brick sorting. But I've got the worst part past me, and I'm so glad about that. It was such a nasty job. Hey, I do want to say something real fast. Maybe I'll cover this in another video, because I tried to find stuff on YouTube about it. I couldn't really. I found a little bit of stuff, but not much on identifying sets from bulks. So, as you know, Legos have unique identification numbers underneath the bricks, underneath all the parts, most of them anyway. But anyway, using Brickset, Google, and Bricklink, I kept the partial builds where, you know, they just chucked everything into a box. All the stuff that was still kind of built, I set aside. I went back and took pictures of them because I couldn't bring all the stuff to work with me. But I took pictures of everything, And then I went back and tried to identify unique parts. Go to Brickset, Bricklink, and use whatever I could to isolate the part number, the color, to figure out what sets those came in. And I would go look at those set pictures and then look at that partial build to get an idea of what was there. So by doing that, I've come up with over $3,700 worth of retail sets. And you know, those sets are not going to be complete, and they don't have the boxes and they don't have the instructions. But still, I went back and figured out, just on the first guys, not the retail price, but I actually went and looked at what does Bricklink say, or Brickset say, about the selling value, like on eBay or Amazon, for these used 100% built. I took that price, added them all up, and it was pretty high up. There was more than double of what I actually paid. And I thought, you know what, even if I only got half of that, then I would at least recoup the money I'd invested on that. But now I'm not looking to do all that stuff. We'll see. There's definitely, I'm not going to keep everything that I got. I mean, there's only so many Lego friend sets I can handle, right? We should know Monday if we have we're going to have a little boy or a little girl. And if we're going to have a little girl, maybe I'll hang on to a lot of that stuff. Everything's cleaned up, throw them in baggies, and you know, put them in the top of the closet. Wait till the next child comes along and see if they want to play with them. Or I'll sell them and then just get new sets. Either way, I got a bunch of work ahead of me, and we're finally on to the fun part. But yes, we've identified a lot of sets. A lot of really cool. Then there's a ton of stuff I haven't identified yet. So I've been using parts that have stickers or decals or prints on them to further try to identify other sets that those came in. But that works for a lot. But there's some of them you're just like, forget it. This part's printed and it comes in like 90 sets. There's no way I'm going to figure out what this went to. But what I do discover is I keep coming across the same sets, and by that process of elimination, I'm pretty much sure what I have there. I think if I went and built all of these sets, whatever Legos are left over, I could probably further isolate it down, but I'm not going to invest that kind of time into it. Anyway, this is a very long video, and it's just me talking a whole lot, but I just wanted to talk about what all I went through with that. So I'll try to keep these videos a lot shorter, but this is the one long one I've been putting off. My first video was very long, and I edited probably 75 to 80% of it down to about a 5-minute video, 10-minute video, something like that. Anyway, this is the long one, and I don't plan on doing these long videos anymore, but this is just my drive home, and yeah, I'll take a picture and put it up with this video so you can see the full lot. Obviously, you would have seen that at the beginning of this video. Anyway, I'll start separating and let you see how that's going in another video. Thanks for watching, and subscribe, comment. Your comments are more important to me than anything else, because this is a fun thing, but it's something I want to be interactive as well. All right, later.